What's up, everybody? This is Phil the Kaiju King from my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati. In this video, I'm going to take a look at a special custom that I got through Mark Sang Yang, and we call it the Embrace 1967. It is the end scene from Son of Godzilla, when Godzilla and Minya are going to be hibernating in the snow. It's a pretty cool little thing, and it's one of the customs I wanted from that film, and it's a great addition to my collection. Let's bring him forth right now. And here it is, folks, the Embrace 1967. It's what me and Mark affectionately called this. It's in 30 centimeter scale. And it's really nicely done. It is, of course, from the end scene of Son of Godzilla, after Godzilla and Minya combined to defeat Kumonga in the film, which I recently posted a video of my top 10 kaiju battles, and this battle was number 8 on my list. Godzilla and Minya versus Kumonga. I love that fight. It isn't a super long fight, but I just love the way they did it and the way it laid out. And I love how Minya finally learned from his daddy and did the full atomic breath on Kumonga with Godzilla, and that set him afire and defeated Kumonga. But it was really cool that that happened in that scene. But then, of course, right after that, the snow had really picked up. It was a blizzard condition on the island, and Godzilla was trailing off, venturing off, and Minya was trying to keep up and lagging behind, and the snow was so deep it was tripping him. He fell 2 times. Of course, Godzilla comes back to him and picks him up, and then this scene here took place where the snow is just getting worse and worse on them, and the weather's getting really inclement, and of course instincts is kicking in, and they're going to go into hibernation mode. So Godzilla grabs his son in this position, and to me, he comforts him. That's my opinion of the whole deal. He comforts him, and this is the position they were in at the end of the film, and the blizzard was coming down very hard, and Godzilla and Minya were going into hibernation mode. It was really cool. I love the ending. It's one of the most emotional endings to any of the Godzilla movies, in my personal opinion and in my view. And I love that movie. I know that's a love and hate movie for people, and I know people love and hate the little guy Minya, but I personally love the movie, and I think Minya's a cool little character. He's goofy looking and all that, but that's part of the show of charm, in my opinion. And I love this movie, and I love this scene, the emotional scene, to me, next to Destroya, the end of Godzilla versus Destroya, when Godzilla melts down and dies. This, to me, is just up on par with that as far as an emotional scene in a Godzilla movie. But I love this sculpt. I love this figure. It's nicely done by Mark, and when I talked to him about it, I didn't know if he could do it, and he said, yeah, I think I can, and he managed to do it expertly, in my opinion. As far as this figure goes, it is on a round, oval shaped type base, but it is made that the base is the snow. He built it up. He built up the clay and formed it as the snow that they are setting in, and it's piling up around them. It looks really cool. It's got nicely done, perfectly white, a little bit of glitter in it, which is good because that's what snow has. But on both sides, it's building and mounting up on Godzilla and Minya's legs, and on a little bit on Godzilla's tail. But it's really nicely done how he did the base with the looks like the snow is all mounted up around them. It's just really cool how he did it. As far as the actual figures, can't see much of Minya, but we'll talk about what we can. Godzilla's tail pretty much goes down and then goes up and goes pretty much straight back from him, and it's got the tree bark skin and all that, but it's all inundated with the white snow. Of course, we got the little row of dorsal plate that starts on his tail, little tiny rows, and then they escalate as they get to his back, larger and larger. But he did a good job with the snow, I think. I forget what he used, but it's really nicely done. Of course, his dorsal blades are all nicely shaped, 67 shaped. The 67 and Godzilla had really uniquely shaped dorsal plates, and these are on par, I would say. They are snow covered, of course, with the inner of them still showing some of the black darker spots that are on the suit on both sides. It is prevalent on both sides. The inner part you can still see some of the black, but the outer part that's the darkish gray, it's all snow covered. So, but the tail has got snow all the way. The dorsal plate's got snow. So really a nicely done figure. Of course, Minya's back. All his little stubby spikes, they're there. They're prevalent. They're there. Of course, they are snow covered, which is pretty cool. Some snow on the back of Minya's head. Of course, his tail is pretty much drowned in the snow here, except for a little bit of it you can see, and it's snow packed all around it. It's just really nicely done by Mark. Of course, Godzilla is embracing him here on his shoulders, holding him close to him, trying to keep him warm. In my opinion, that's what he was doing, trying to keep him warm so he would go into hibernation. And Godzilla's face is just a stern, flat look there, as far as no emotion really. But his eyes are like halfway open. They're not fully open, which to me that represents that he's going into hibernation mode. So it makes sense that he would have this look on his face, because he is going to be going into hibernation. He looks pretty docile, and that's the way it should be, because he's going to go into hibernation. The face is all nicely done. Of course, there's snow entailing the whole body of Godzilla. Minya ain't as bad as snow, because Godzilla is shadowing and covering him a lot, but he does have some snow indications on his little back spikes, and of course his tail, and on his hips a little, on his head a little. But Godzilla is prevalently covered by snow. His body is thoroughly covered with the snow effects, and I can't recall what he used for the snow effects, but it's really nicely done. But I know the base is all sculpted to clay, and then he just put the snow effects on it. So that's really cool how he did it. As far as the Godzilla, his tree bark skin is prevalent, nicely done. It's just all tapered with the white snow, which is what happened in the film to these two, unfortunately. But I love this sculpt. It's really nicely done. I love how the finished product came out. I got it last December, I think. I got it right before Christmas time, maybe. First or second week in December, I want to say, is when I got this. And Mark told me he wanted to get it to me before Christmas because of the winter time and stuff, and I was like, yeah, go ahead. I had already had it commissioned for a minute, I think, but it's really nicely done sculpt. Like I said, he is, setting. Godzilla's in a setting position, so he's scrunched down. So I will do some size comparisons momentarily, and you'll see with some of my X Plus stuff, you will see their sizing and all that. All right, we will go on to our first size comparison right now. All right, everybody, I've got the original release Godzilla 1964 30 centimeter with my custom Embrace sculpt from 1967, Son of Godzilla. Like I said, Godzilla is sitting down mode here, so he's like an inch or so shorter than 64, I'd say, about an inch, maybe a little more, but that makes sense because he is not full standing position. So all right, I'll do another size comparison right away. All right, I've brought forth the 30 centimeter X Plus Godzilla 1968 with the 30 centimeter Minya 1968. You can see they're pretty much the same height, with him scrunching down, but he is on the base as well. So, but if he was standing up, he'd clearly be taller than the 68, but this was a tall Godzilla in a tall suit, so that would make sense. Mark does a really good job. I've said this before, but does a really good job of scaling these things, whatever scale you want. So it's really nicely done, and they look good together. This was the 67, and this was the very next suit, the 68. Thought I'd bring him forth with Minya, of course, because we got this Minya here, so it's just really cool. All right, one final size comparison, and we'll go to that right now. All right, everybody, I'm back. Of course, I had to bring forth the 30 centimeter X Plus Godzilla 67. This is the Rick with grown Minya and the dork over here. Just kidding. I had to bring him forth too, even though he's really not in this scene at the end, but this X Plus 67 is one of the tallest 30 centimeter figures there is. He's really big, massive, nicely done figure though. I like this figure a lot. I'm really glad they brought this forth. It's a long time coming, in my opinion. But they look good together. All right, I'll move on to some final thoughts on this here sculpt, and we'll do that right now. All right, everybody, I'm back. Final thoughts on this. When I started doing my custom journey with Mark, this was one that, when I eyed the movie, this was definitely something that I thought of that I wanted. And to me, it just made sense because it's one of the memorable scenes from the movie. This embrace scene, and it's really an emotional scene. As I said earlier, to me it's on par with Destroya 95 when Godzilla perishes in nuclear meltdown. So, but it really is a really unique sculpt. It sticks out on my shelf too because it's all white practically, so it's really a cool, and it's a really nicely done thing, and I highly recommend Mark's talents to anyone that would even be thinking of a Godzilla figure, or in particular a Kong figure. As you can see over my left shoulder back there, that whole shelf is Kong, and all except two pieces, the Mechanic Kong and the 67 Kong. Everything on that shelf back there is all from Mark custom made Kong sculpts. But he does a really good job, and this one was another great example of his artsmanship, his expertise, and his masterful work. I will bring the camera closer for a close-up of this thing. And I want to thank everyone for watching my channel as usual and partaking in my venture here. This is Phil the Kaiju King from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati. I wish you all a very wonderful day.